This is the Fiery Redhead. I'm your podcast host, Elise Litwin. Now let's ignite your fire within. Well, welcome to the podcast. I am here with Stephanie, who's joining us today. Stephanie, just tell us a little bit about what you do for your profession, work, a little bit about your lifestyle.
I'm an occupational therapist by trade. I'm a director of a rehab facility in Boca Raton, Florida. We do inpatient, outpatient, and skilled nursing, and I'm in charge of all the therapy, which consists of physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and fitness training.
So she's a
I've been there
people
15
person.
years.
15 years is a long time. I don't know that I
15
could be at
years.
one place for 15 years. But
I
that's
know,
pretty
it's
good.
been a while.
That's an accomplishment in itself.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So this is my first episode with someone as an interview on the Fiery Redhead. And I brought Stephanie here today because Stephanie has gone through a whirlwind in her life. And it all began with the passing of her husband. And so I'm going to take you through a little bit with Stephanie of what she's gone through and where she's gotten to now. So first, I want you to tell us a little bit about who your husband was.
He was the love of my life. We were married for almost 25 years. We grew up together, knew each other through high school and college, and got reunited at 29. And he was an amazing person, inside and out, fun loving. He owned his own business, hardworking, great father, and just a great friend. On his stone, it says to know him is to love him, and that's really what it is. He had over 300 people at his funeral, to say the least. So that just tells what a type of person he was to everyone.
That sure does. I don't know that a lot of people can say that they've had 300 people at their spouse's funeral. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I guess it just shows really who he was.
Yes. He was an amazing person.
Okay, so if someone had met you before he passed, how would they have described you?
Fun, upbeat, outgoing, life of the party, laugh of the party at sometimes, hardworking, just motivated, all around good person.
So that sounds like, like you had a beautiful life and things were going in the direction that you wanted, your accomplishments, the dream that you had for your future with him and everything. So it sounds like you were right where you wanted to be.
Yeah, where I wanted to be at that time. We were ready to be empty nesters in a year. We're going to travel, and my next chapter was going to start with him.
Right. All right. So when was the moment that you realized that your life was just never going to be the same again after his passing?
The moment they called me and said he was unresponsive and for me to get to the hospital. The moment I walked in there and saw him on tubes and hooked up to machines and just knew he wasn't coming back, as much as the doctors kept saying I should wait and give it time. He coded 4 times in one day, and he kept coming back. His heart kept wanting to come back, but ultimately it just couldn't tolerate it. And yeah, it was very shocking.
But that kind of that visual for you was like kind of the moment where you just realized you processed.
And being in the medical field, I know how doctors try to give you hope, and nurses, and I opened up his eyes. I looked at his pupils. I saw that they were fixed and dilated. I knew that meant he had no brain stimulation going on, but he was breathing on the tubes, and I knew in my heart that he wasn't coming back.
Yeah. What a hard thing to take in, though. It takes my breath away as you're explaining it. Yeah, a lot. All right. What surprised you most? that nobody ever like warned you about? Like you hear all these things when someone passes away, you go through all the first of everything and whatever. What was the thing that you felt you really never were going to expect that you would go through?
I think ultimately it's the loneliness that you just long for that person. And
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. I have a wonderful family and a great support system and lots of friends, and my work was amazing. I missed a lot of work the first year and a half. And, I just think it's just, that loneliness of missing him, and
Cool.
trying
And
to
you're
move forward. But at the same time, I'm never going to move on past him, but I know I have to move forward and go on with my life. And he wouldn't want me to be sitting here, crying every day, of course, missing him, but he'd want me to go on and be happy. And I know and I'm a happy person, I'm meant to find love in life again. So,
worse. You can see the spark in you. Do you ever feel like guilty that you're trying to move on?
no, because I really
Good.
feel that if someone loves you that much, which I know he does, and I know he's watching over me, he wants me to be happy. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
see me sit here like I've been doing for almost 2 years. And, you know, it's not healthy for my daughters. They
Right.
they need to see that you're strong and moving forward. And he would want that. I know in his heart he would want that. I sometimes go back and I wish we had some time. Like, let's say he had been sick and he had a terminal illness, and we could have said our goodbyes and we could have told each other what we wanted. This was a
Right.
shock. I mean, I had no idea. So I'm just going on what I feel in his heart that he would want for me. And I know he would want me to be happy and move forward.
It also is a different world when you're a young person and you become a widow, or you go
Yeah,
through your whole relationship with your significant other and you grow old together, and your brain, in a way, is processing to get you to that point where one of you will be alone eventually. But you were
right.
so young that the shock.
Yeah, it's just, you don't have time to process it. And then
No.
it's like, oh my God, I had this ideal, perfect life. I couples that used to stop me, even at his funeral, people said to me, the love that you two had, I don't feel that towards my spouse, and they were joking with me. And they said, you
Don't
guys
name
were
names.
special. Yes, I won't name names, but they said to me, what you had was so special and rare. And now, almost 2 years later, I keep telling myself every day, I have to feel blessed that I had that. Some people never get that in a lifetime, and they could be married multiple times and they never have that love and passion and excitement and affection and just devotion that we had for each other. So I have to be thankful and blessed that I did have him, even though it was too short. But at the same time, at least I had it. Some people never get it. So
That's a beautiful way to look at it, for
trying,
sure. I know you are.
trying.
Um, what were some things that people tried to do for you? Like thought they were being helpful, but intentionally it was getting on your nerves, or you were getting irritated, or you just wanted to say, stop, leave me alone.
Um, you know, I was so broken and so lost that, really, there wasn't any, it wasn't like people gave me the space I needed when I needed it. I'm very lucky that I have friends that were there for me. And, when I needed therapy and things like that, they came, they got me up and out of bed and took me to where I needed to be. So really, I mean, there wasn't much that I can look back on and feel like, oh my God, I wish they weren't there or they were too much for me. It's just I had the worst part, and no one can help you, is the sadness of other people's eyes looking at you. When they see you and they pity you, and you don't want them to pity you, because I'm not a person that likes that. So that, I think, was the hardest for me, is just people, I know they're being empathetic and sympathetic for me, but sometimes I was like, don't look at me that way, you know, because you just don't want people to feel that, you don't want people to feel that way. But at the same
You don't want
time,
people to look at you and be like sad, like just that you're just sadness. That's not all who
right.
you are, and you don't want to see that in people's eyes. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
That's
that.
one reason why
All
I
right.
leave Coral Springs. And, I moved east to Boca just thinking a change of environment. It's not helping as far as the missing of him, but it does help that I go out and I don't run into people every day that are reminding me of his loss. Here no one knows that I'm a widow and no one knows what I've been through. So I just feel like I can just, walk around and not, feel that I'm going to run into someone each and every day, which I ran into multiple times a day with, that pity look. Yeah.
You're Stephanie, and that's what people see. They don't know all the other until you
Right.
until you tell them or want to tell them, or you get to know them.
Exactly.
For when they meet you, you're Stephanie.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a that's an interesting way to think about it, but I could see how that would be really helpful.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I like this question. Who was the woman sitting in front of the mirror 6 months after his passing? So when you looked in the mirror 6 months later, who did you see?
I didn't even recognize myself. I wasn't me. That's for sure. Initially, I was almost on overpilot because I took over his business and I thought I could be superwoman and do it all. And that was like a month after he passed. I was trying to run his company, which, just couldn't do without him. But 6 months after it had, yeah, that's when I was kind of in, more like, whoa, yeah.
That just took my breath away, actually, when you said that. Because I
Yeah.
can't imagine looking into the mirror and then having that reflection. And you being aware of that your
Yeah,
reflection is of a ghost, you know?
yeah, I wasn't there, I wasn't present in the moment. Was just, I wasn't even survive. I don't know. I was just living. People say,
Yeah.
how are you doing? And I'm like, taking it day by day, taking it moment by moment, but I was just breathing, I was just there,
Yeah. One
basically.
breath at a time.
Just-
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's really heavy to try to balance the whole world, your world, kids, work, everything, paying bills, whatever, family, and then yet not being disassociated really from who
yeah,
you were before.
yeah. No, you're right. It was, it
Yeah.
was intense.
That's a hard vision. But
Yeah.
okay. What was the hardest part of rebuilding your identity after looking in the mirror, seeing the ghost of yourself? What was the hardest part of rebuilding yourself?
I think just realizing that life goes on. Everyone moves forward. Everyone, everyone lives. And, I can stay in this ghost feeling or living in my shadow, and everyone else is still going on. And, I just realized that, as much as it hurts and each and every day I wake up with sometimes that pit in my stomach, but I have to move forward. I believe that there's more out there. I have to believe that God is looking over me and my children, and that, you know, other things will come. I mean, I can never replace him, but I do believe that I'm not meant to be alone. I'm not looking, to replace him and jump into another relationship right now, but I do believe that I'm meant to love again. It's funny because I've run into so many people that are going through divorces at my age, and they're like, gosh, I'm so happy to be single. I can't wait to go out, this and that. And I'm like, I was in a happy, loving relationship. We were very intimate with each other on a regular basis. And I like that. I like that companionship, that intimacy, that security, just knowing that someone is there for you. And I believe that, I will find someone. Kevin will bring someone into my life when the time is right. And I just have to keep moving forward. That's really it, you
Yeah,
know? But it's
I
hard.
believe
It's
that
it's
he would.
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. Even that thought of you saying that Kevin will bring somebody into your life when the time is right. I mean, that's got to be a hard thing to say.
Yeah. But I know he knows the love I have for him, and what we had was just so
And
special, and
it'll
he
always
knows
be
that.
ever present, no matter what relationship you're in.
Exactly. And any man I meet will have to understand that, that
Yeah.
he was the love of my life. He really was. And
Right.
I'm not saying
Right.
settling by any means, but I do believe that you could have second chapters of your life. And I've met
Right.
so many older people because of my industry at work that have lost their spouses in their 50s, and they've been married one, if not two times since then. And they're like, you'll
Wow.
find someone, you'll
Yeah.
find, and they tell you all
Right.
these stories, but I guess time will tell, you know?
I guess that's interesting. Being like you said, the industry that you work in, like
Yeah, every
they're
day.
at
I
this
mean, I'm
other
working with,
stage of life,
yeah, I have
and they've
people
all
that are in
lived
their
it, and then to be able to
90s.
tell you that,
Yeah, in
yeah,
their 90s. I have people 102, 103 that I deal with, and they all have their stories. And, most of them, being as young as I am, have remarried or met someone or connected with someone. Later in
right,
life, it's a little different, but,
of
being
course.
as young as I am, I feel that, I'm not meant to be alone for the rest of my life.
I love how you're the helper, but the people that you're helping are helping you too.
Yeah. I
This
love what I
kind of
do. I
something
mean, my
beautiful.
residents are just amazing, and they're great, and they're the longest living generation. We will never, our
That's a big
generation will not live that.
no.
And I don't know if I
Too
want it,
much
to be
pressure.
honest.
Maybe
The
I know, right,
the way it's so expensive in our generation, and
right,
we outlive our expenses. Our
yeah.
finances. But that generation, a lot of them are way above 90, 100 years old, still thriving. So it's pretty
Blessing.
amazing.
That is
Yeah.
pretty amazing. It really is. I mean, all right. What strengths do you feel that your grief uncovered in you?
Uncovered in me.
Yeah.
What did
What
you
do
say?
you
I'm sorry.
think? What strengths did your grief really are highlighted, or you felt were heightened in that point of your life?
Strengths.
What strengths? Yes.
I guess compassion, love, not being bitter. A lot of women, a lot of people would turn and would say, play the victim role. Why did
Yeah.
this happen to me? It's not fair. I believe that shit happens. As much as I
Yeah.
hate to say it, sometimes stuff
It
happens. He
does.
was a healthy gentleman working out at the gym 6 days a week, and his heart failed. And you know what? I mean, he had the
It was his
biggest
time.
heart that sometimes I feel like maybe he gave his heart so much it just failed on him. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird, but
Yeah, no, that's a
I
way. That's definitely a way to look at it. I mean, to
guess it
help
was,
your brain process it, I think.
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but I think just finding the strength and just surviving and knowing that you have to move forward. You have to, try as hard as it is with your children. I have two daughters. They're wonderful, but, I want, they've gone through so much themselves, and you want to set a
Yeah.
good example for them, and,
Yeah. Yeah,
let
that
them
that's
know.
that's a hard role to play because
Yeah.
you're going through hell. Your kids are
Hmm.
going through hell, and you're their mom, but it's hard being their mom when you're just, like you said, disassociated from what was going on in your world.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
very hard, really a hard thing, I think, to balance when you go through something like that. You can't just think about yourself, and that's all you want to do, but you can't. You've
Exactly.
got these beautiful girls that rely on you, depend on you, besides just being their mom or financially, being their friend, being their support
Hmm.
system, all those things. And yet you're melting away and you have to try to balance all that out.
Yeah.
Do you
There's been
ever ask
times I
them?
feel like well, there's been a lot of times I feel like I failed them in a way, like I should have pushed myself more, but they're amazing. They're understanding. They saw what I was going through and thank God they're great girls and they're very
Yeah,
self-sufficient and, you know,
which definitely helps. That definitely
yeah,
helps.
exactly. And their ages, they were older. I mean, God forbid this happened and I had young kids, it would be a lot
Right.
different. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would be a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So, my theme of this new season of my podcast is the fire that's ignited in you. And I believe in people go through things and fires are ignited in them because of it. Your life is moving forward. How has your fire been ignited? Do you see that there's a fire or some embers starting to burn inside of you that are making you feel more passionate or more, I guess, motivated or looking forward to what your future could possibly be?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I haven't been the best with exercising. I mean, I've slacked off a bit, but I'm trying to get back on, trying to motivate myself more. I've been doing a little bit more of exercising, which is helping and release the
Right,
endorphins and get me going. But I do feel, I want to travel and I've realized maybe I just have to change who I'm going to travel with, and I have
right,
girlfriends now I'll travel with or take my
right,
daughters and travel. And,
right,
I'm just realizing that, life, you can still live a life, with or without the love of your life, you could still live a life and you just
right.
need to try to, you know,
Yeah,
the key.
definitely. So if Kevin could see the woman that you are today, what do you think he'd say?
What he said. I mean, I think he'd be proud of me that I'm surviving, going out, meeting people, trying dating apps, which are crazy, but at least trying. I might not be happy
Right.
with some of the things I've been testing out, but I'm testing the waters with all things.
Gotta kill all
No,
those
but
frogs, baby.
exactly. But I think he'd be happy that I'm not laying in bed with the pillows over my head like I was for so long and that I'm trying to move forward and trying to just live with his memory inside me each and every day, but just move forward. That's the key. And it's funny because someone said, "You're never going to move on." And I was like, "What do you mean?" But they're like, "But you're going to move forward." And I was like, think about that because it's kind of like, well, if you're not moving on, how are you moving forward? You could think of it in different ways. Yeah,
Right.
but I understand it
So how,
now.
how did you understand that now?
Yeah, I just think, meaning you're never going to stop remembering, you're never going to stop loving what you had, but you do have to move forward in another direction to see what else life has to offer you, you know?
Right. So, if my listeners haven't realized by now, Stephanie is one of my best friends. Now, we didn't allude to that anywhere in this conversation. Obviously, I knew her husband very well, and I've seen everything with my own eyes of what she's gone through. And I'm one of those people that she looked back at and said, "Don't look at me with those sad eyes." And I've seen such the reason why I chose Stephanie, number one, she knows that I've been grieving, so we different grief, but grieving, and I wanted her to have her on my first time because I've seen the fire personally that's been ignited in her. She talks about it very subdued and the things that she's proud of herself. But if I could really give you a picture of Stephanie from that moment when she realized that her life was changing forever to the woman sitting in front of me right now, I have goosebumps. I don't even think she realizes. those embers aren't just embers. There's a fire starting in her. Every time I see her and we go out, it's like she's evolved each time into somebody not different, but like I see the sparkle in your eye again. And that's what I feel like is the flame inside of you that's just starting to trickle. And you saying to me how he'll always be the love of your life, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a future and that you can't move on with somebody else. And that makes me so happy. And I know it makes all of our friends happy to know that you're going in that direction.
It's
And
hard.
we
It's
all,
hard
we
because
all,
you know,
when she,
and
go
we
ahead.
do, you do the comparing and no one will ever measure up to
Sure.
him in my mind. But,
No.
I have my friends and my family that tell me you got to just change your mindset right now and
Yeah.
realize you've had that. And
Yeah.
now it's, different chapters. So look for
Yeah.
a different
For
thing,
sure.
maybe.
And Stephanie's always got some good stories for us when we get together, so, which we will not share here. But she has
No.
some really good stories of that, starting with the dating apps and all that stuff. So there's definitely some stuff there, and very interesting what she's been going through in that whole new world of dating. But not just that, just going back to work and hearing the passion back in your voice. You lost that passion for your job, and like I hear it again. I hear when you're talking about them and the people who are over 100, like you lost that for so long. And
Yeah,
for me to
I
hear,
did.
yeah, I just love hearing that come from you because I know how much you really enjoyed it before. And
Yeah.
so like that you're back into it and wherever it may take you in the future, but knowing that you're finding some kind of happiness at your job again, not just like I got to get up and go because I got to get up and go. You want to get up and go and make a difference. And I think
Right.
that's really beautiful. So I've definitely seen that in you. All right. My last question. I want you to finish the sentence. My story didn't end when his did because.
Because of life, because of my children, because of my family, my friends, and really because of him. He had so much life in him. He would never want someone to stop living their life because of him, because he's not here anymore. I really believe that, Kevin would want all of us to succeed and move forward and, remember him and his
What?
memories and
Yeah.
feel it.
He showed that in
Like I
life
feel it. Like
because
I get like when I'm really feeling sad and blue, a lot of times in the morning I'm getting ready for work, I'm in the shower and I'm feeling sad. And then I just think of him and our love and I get like this warmth in me and I'm like, okay, he's still with me. Like, I just think about him and I get that
yeah.
that warmth, that feeling that, you know, I don't
So
know. I can't describe it.
he's actually part of the fire in you that's
Yeah.
igniting you to move forward. He's part of your flames. That warmth that you feel every morning is that fire igniting in you to move forward, to start your day out because you ultimately know that's what he would want for you.
Yeah. You're right.
It's really beautiful. Do you want to say anything else to our audience?
Just to tell people that, you know what, be true to yourself. Don't give up on yourself as hard as it gets. Believe that, you never know what tomorrow brings. And just you have to have hope. It's my middle name is Hope, Stephanie Hope. So I just believe you have to have hope and, faith and just believe that.
Goosebumps.
Yeah,
When
my
you
daughter's
said
name
that.
is Faith. But anyways,
But when you said Stephanie Hope, it was like
yeah, you just have
I knew that was your middle name, but I just never thought about it that way.
yeah. And if
I
anyone
love
ever
it.
wants to reach out, anyone that's a widow that's struggling, I would love to help others because I know what it's like. And I think sometimes, it's hard to connect with people your own age, at our age when we are
Yeah,
widows.
at your age, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thanks for being here today. Thank you for doing this for me. And I
Of
love the
course.
experience of doing it with you. And my new thing is whoever's on my podcast is a fire starter. And so you are my very first fire starter. And I think the
Thank you.
words that you just shared, even right at the end, I have goosebumps again. Even the words that you just said at the end, knowing and wanting to help people, you're a fire starter. Thank you, Stephanie. I love you.
Love you.
All right, stay with me.